Hey Camp, it's Chris. I was in AD last summer, and I hope to see a lot of your faces in August for a cameo. I I left camp about 8 months ago, and to say that it's left a lasting impression on me would be a massive understatement. Today, my girlfriend and I speak NVC, mostly when we fight, but fight compassionately. Um, I dragged my friends to a KM session for a decathlon we ran recently, and I guess just this week I got invited to submit a proposal to present on success counseling at a regional conference for educators up in Seattle, based on some of the work I've been doing to bring that into the school where I work now. But I would say even more than any of those skills, what has stuck with me after camp has been the spirit of Augusta, the drive to blow past every barrier, the desire to dream big, the push to exceed every limit and push every constraint. I work in a school right now where I coordinate a community school unification project, and it's the second poorest school in the state, and there's a lot of people who I think they talk about what's not possible in this community or for these students, and I think that's normal. I think that for a lot of the world, people ask, what do I have? What are my parameters? And what can I do with that? I think the Augustan asks, in my wildest dreams, where would I be? Where would we be? Where would this program be? What are the barriers? How can I get there? For me, that's that's why can't our fifth grade field trip be a snowshoeing adventure on Mount Hood, an overnight expedition, instead of a trip to the zoo? Why can't we have an archery class for adults in the evening if that's what's going to bring them into the school? Why can't we have a 5-to-1 ratio in our after school program? Is it money? Have we looked for donors? Have we looked for volunteers? Have we applied to grants? Did we talk to that tennis club next door and see if they'd bring somebody in to teach lessons once a week or something? Have we checked those possibilities? Are those barriers real? And I guess that mentality is something you read about and you hear about a lot, but I don't think you learn it that way. I think that when you spend a season of your life in a place like Augusta that lives, breathes, learns, wakes, sleeps, and possibility everywhere, I think that changes you in a way that you might not expect. And if you can catch that spirit and take it with you when you leave, um, it will make an influence on the trajectory of your life that is just enormous. And what you can do, um, what impact you'll have, where your life will go. I know that it did for me. Um, I miss camp a lot, and I miss all of you, and I miss being there. And I hope you guys are having a rocking staff training and have a killer part of the summer. Take care.
Hi everyone, Hansel here in beautiful Sydney, Australia. Isn't it lovely? Yes. It has officially been the worst summer on record ever. There's been nothing but horrible torrential downpours, and having come directly from England to Sydney, that has been somewhat of a disappointment. And that's the Augusta Without Borders thing I want to share with you today, is about the difference between expectations and goals, because we can all have these expectations that we want something to look a certain way. We can kind of force them to look only that way and say that we're only going to be happy when they look that way. So I'm only going to be happy in Sydney when it's sunny, I might say. And instead, letting go of that expectation, instead learning to set goals, that I'm going to find a way to find beauty in a city even when there's absolutely no sunshine and it's completely overcast and it's freezing cold. I'm going to experience that with joy in a certain way, and I'm going to set that personal goal for myself. So that's me in lovely Sydney, Australia, and that's my Augusta Without Borders. Hope you guys are having a wonderful staff training, and hopefully some of you will stick around and I can see you all next year when I might make a cameo appearance, save my spot. Okay, signing off from Sydney. Hansel.
Hi Lodge, my name is Kalle and I am from Sweden, and I was a counselor in Cedar last year and also in 2010. So one of the questions that Luby asked in the email that she sent out for this session was, what changes have you made in your life since Augusta? I think it's safe to say that I have grown and changed so much during the 2 summers I spent at Augusta, but I find it difficult to pinpoint exactly where and how I have changed, and I think part of that is that I am still processing the whole experience. But I can give you one concrete example though. I did a presentation on NVC for a university class. So yeah, watch out. That's what happens if you're not careful. So since I got back to Sweden last year, I have started studying for a bachelor's degree in computer science. And I know what some of you are probably thinking right now. What does computers have to do with reclaiming and fostering the beauty, wonder, awe, potential, and innocence of childhood? And why are you even bringing it up at all? That's an excellent question. Let me answer that for you. It has absolutely nothing at all to do with any of those things, except that you can make some pretty darn cool things with computers, a little inventiveness, and drive. So now I will show you a project I've recently finished. So here we have it, the Moisture Guard 2000. I made this gadget because I always forget to water my plants, and what it does is that it can sense the level of moisture in the soil, and it gives a warning if the level is too low. And it's really simple the way it works. It just uses 2 galvanized nails that conduct electricity, and an electrical signal is sent to this nail, and then that signal goes to the ground and up the other nail where it is measured. And as you all know from elementary school, water conducts electricity. So the higher level of moisture in the soil means that the signal on this nail will be stronger. So let's try it out and see if it actually works.
My need for water is not being met.
So as you can hear, Mr. Plant is a little thirsty.
My need for
we have
water
to give
is
him
not
water.
being met.
And he also understands the language of needs, which I think is kind of neat.
My need for water is not
So let's see what
being
happens
met.
if we put some water on the soil. You should see
My
the
need
moisture
for water
level
is not
rising.
being met. My need for water is not being met.
And a little bit more.
My need for water is not being met. My need for water is not being met. Thank you, colleague. I feel profoundly rejuvenated.
Why, you're welcome, Mr. Plant. And we're back. So that should give you a pretty good idea of what I've been doing for the last year or so. And I just want to say that I am really excited to see what kind of crazy projects you guys can create together with the campers this summer, and I look forward to hearing all about it later. And just one last thing, don't forget to water your plants.
Okay, so let me be honest with you. Though I'm very excited about this opportunity to share with you how Augusta has and is still affecting me and my life, I'm also getting a bit frustrated because this is the so many attempt at taking this video, and every single time I find myself struggling to find the words to describe the importance of camp to me and how it's still affecting me, which which I find interesting because I know that ever since I've been to camp for the first time in 2009, camp has become part of my heart, mind and soul. And every time I'm at Augusta, and every time I'm talking to an Augustan or reliving memories or sharing stories about Augusta and my time there, and in all of those moments I find myself absorbing little bits of the Camp Augusta philosophy and the Camp Augusta mindset, and I see that in my day-to-day life, in that I communicate in a different way with my family and friends, which is more non-violent and clean, because before I went to camp it definitely was open and direct, but now 2 more components have been added to the way I'm communicating. But it's also in my general attitude, which now is even more of a how can I make this happen attitude and a yes and attitude. And I think I'm seeing life more and more as a choose your own adventure story, in which living the decisions and the consequences of those decisions consciously plays an important part in my life. And something else that I've learned from Augusta is trusting my own intuition. So those decisions, though lived consciously, are often made on an intuitive basis. But if I have to point out one single thing in which camp is affecting me, it's warm fuzzies. And if you haven't read the story, I can definitely recommend it. But how is camp giving me warm fuzzies, you might wonder. Well, every day it's still a part of my reality because of the memories that I have of my time there, and because it is such an intertwined part of who I am. So whenever I get the opportunity to share stories or relive memories, I feel a warm fuzzy. And I really enjoy passing on those warm fuzzies or spreading the warm fuzzies by sharing my experiences and sharing the knowledge that I've gained at camp. And what I hear back is that people really enjoy hearing about the experience and hearing about the different approach that we use at camp. And with different, when I say different, I'm comparing to, for example, my work, which is a very hierarchical, not a flat hierarchy, but one that goes in a pyramid, and where there's a very top-down structure in the organization. Well, those people, they enjoy hearing how it can be done as well. And I feel like I'm getting away from what I was trying to say. I'm trying to say camp is a warm fuzzy, and I would like to give you a warm fuzzy too. So, dikke knuffels to all of you, and doei doei! And yes, not 2 minutes, sorry about that. To my standards, not perfect either, but learning to let go. So, hope you enjoyed it.
Hi, my name is Melania, rhymes with lasagna, and there is life after Camp Augusta, believe it or not. I was here at camp from 2005 to 2007, and then in and out as much as I can. Alex and I met in high school, worked here together for a few years, and then got married in 2009. After that, I moved up to Portland to study midwifery, and I was pleasantly surprised that part of my curriculum was actually studying nonviolent communication. So I got to use those skills that I had learned at camp and kind of breezed through those 2 courses that I had, and also just use them all the time with students and with other friends. I call it friend maintenance when I bring up a tough conversation, and my preference is to try to warn people that we're going to talk about something heavy, and it doesn't seem to matter if they know NVC or not, but I like to use it as much as I can. I don't always use it. Anyway, I just got my midwifery license last month in the mail, which was really exciting. So I actually moved to Nevada City from Portland in September and opened up a practice here and have seen 5 clients and also had my own baby. So maybe you'll meet Enzo someday this summer when we come to visit. He is now 2 months old, and I look forward to bringing him to camp and exposing him to all the wonderful activities we have here, and just to the people too. Because camp has definitely influenced my life, not only getting me to move to Nevada City in this area, but also just, I think, to become a better person. Although I have run into some issues where the people don't know the camp mentality and it's not the norm, and I kind of assume they do, and I realized that right after camp I was kind of hard. I had to train everyone, and there was a period of time where I wished that everyone I'd met had gone to camp already so I wouldn't have to do that, and that didn't actually work, but it did a little bit, because I would tell people about, okay, my name's Melania, and I really ask for 100% of what I want, but you don't have to say yes. We can talk about it. And I've totally taken that mantra with me and talk about ways to meet everybody's needs, not just my own. And sometimes that gets really challenging, especially when I forget to mention that that's who I am and where I come from, because it can be looked at as needy or bossy. So just be aware of that when you leave camp. I really have enjoyed my time here, and I hope that you do too. I don't know what else to say.
Hi everybody, my name's Sophie and I am the proud owner of a Camp Augusta 5-year box. I was first at camp as a Mansi counsellor, I was then PD, and then finally as kitchen crew. Had the absolutely most fantastic time ever, learnt so much, and totally feel like camp is my second home. I was there in March for a little while and it was so wonderful to be back. I absolutely loved it. I was really, really sad to leave. So a few ways in which camp has influenced my life. Well, firstly, through my work. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life when I first went to camp, and after 5 years of being there, I finally just determined what I liked doing. And I now work for a charity in the UK which works to get young people involved and engaged in their local communities. I think my experience at camp and being part of a strong community really showed me the importance of having that bond with people, and in the importance of inputting into your community to make it a better place to be. Secondly, in terms of practical resources, camp is an endless supply of resources. I constantly refer back to what I'd learnt there. Only the other week in work I ran a session on Your Storied Life, which you might have done by now, you might not have done, I'm not sure. But I basically drew from all the stuff that we did at camp, looked back at the staff manual, all the stuff about Your Storied Life, and had a session to encourage people to try and be a bit more positive in work and learn how to give feedback in a productive manner. Another way in which camp has influenced me, I am still wearing my camp clothes, and I have just come back from an aerial silks class, which I never would have done had I not been at camp. And finally, as you can see, I don't know if you can see behind, camp is decorating my flat with my lovely wood cookies, which I'm extremely proud of. I hope you all have a fantastic time there, get the most out of staff training, get the most out of the summer, and enjoy it. Good luck, I wish I could be there. Thanks, bye.
Many things that I took from Augusta, obviously the friends, the memories, the hunger to just play, be outdoors and have adventures. But what really stands Augusta out, the extra tools that I learned, things like nonviolent communication, empathy, and behavior guidance. Nonviolent communication and empathy really helped me connect with my family, friends, or colleagues. And although it's not always easy to remember to use the tools, the awareness of them definitely helps. And I'd worked in a school before Camp Augusta, and I've just come back from teaching in Korea. And behaviour guidance really helped me in Korea, and really went a long way to my success there. And I'm sure will really go a long way when I work with kids in the future.